conditions remaining bearish, majority bearish on S&P 500 at 12 and 2, and 12 and 2 also on the 1 hour time frame. Futures down 1.5% this morning, and seeing that area retested, essentially those most recent lows getting retested here. We're seeing 14 majority bearish on S&P futures currently this morning. We saw on Friday continued weakening in the overall breadth, but still sitting right around that 40 range, 46.71 currently on the breadth for S&P 500. That's the number of stocks above the 50-day moving average. So we're a majority bearish there as well, with 60% of stocks essentially not above that. So we're seeing that continue to trend lower. We're seeing a big spike in VIX here. We talked about this on Friday, where we're starting to get pretty wide volatility historically based on where it has been before, and that starts to become an unsustainable move, an unsustainable location, where we're also running into that with the trend here on S&P 500, the shorter term trend. When we get that really expanded trend on that 1 hour time frame, really on any of the time frames, but the 1 hour is the shorter term time frame. When we're looking at some of the shorter term moves, we're back down inside of this demand block. We're pushing that 50% retracement at 56.33 on S&P 500 here as well. Not saying that it could be a significant bounce, but it's at one of those locations, particularly after this long of a slide to the downside. Really no catalyst pushing things other than the discussion of everything that's happening in the Oval Office and in Washington, and the Federal Reserve, recession. The inflationary talk's not there quite as much. We did see a lot of some of those ADP numbers, some of those employment reports coming in a little bit weak. So the market's worrying more about recession at these levels. Let's look at the short end of the yield curve. SHY continuing to show some strength here in this current trend. Majority bullish on the daily time frame. Majority bullish at 8 and 6 on the 1 hour time frame. That's for SHY. Short end of the yield curve. TLT, the longer end of the yield curve, we're seeing still majority bearish in the shorter term. Some pullback here as it's trying to work towards that upside, and not quite there yet. We're seeing the bond yield curve at 0.33. Again, that we want to see that continuing to move higher, further and further away from this yellow line. That yellow line of 0 is inverted, meaning the 2-year is higher than the 10-year. That's not the case right now. We're seeing 2-year at 3.92, and majority bearish on rates right here. Also the 10-year at majority bearish on that 10-year rate as it's continuing to retrace and move back down as well. And the spread between those two is this number, that 33.33 number as the yield curve. If we take a look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average, also inside of this demand block and pulling back, potential retest of this 50% or a test of this support area around that 420 range. You can see price activity has been here before, and it's been inside of this box, and every time it's been inside of this box, it's been able to push higher and make some new highs. We'll see if we get any kind of interest on the Dow today. Triple Qs, NASDAQ testing that low point. Everything's testing this low retracement, kind of this breakout point that we've seen. And in the shorter term, though, trends accelerating to the downside, majority bearish here as well. IYM, which is the Russell 2000 small cap names, you're seeing that. Also, again, really extended trend in the shorter term. Watch to see if we get some kind of a counter trend rally, a bounce right here, or if we continue to slide through those support areas. USO oil, seeing a little bit of a move right here off of some lows. We've sliced right through that 618. This is your swing high, swing low point. This is your 50% retracement, 61% retracement. Now we're looking at just really some of these deeper retracement levels. There could be significant demand sitting down here. We'll see if that does pop things in, but we've got a pretty tough trend on the daily time frame to work through on oil. We'll see how gold is doing. Gold continued to hold up right here, bouncing off that majority bullish at 12 and pulling in, finding some support right around that 236 area, and definitely we talked about this also on Friday, really wide trend also in gold on this daily time frame. So could have some areas where we're going from compression down at this end to expansion up at this end. Could be a little bit tough for gold to really get some continuation of this overall uptrend without some type of a consolidation first. And the daily time frame also on gold. We squeeze that back in right here. Also pretty expanded as well. Silver, let's take a look here. We've got holding up here as well, majority bullish on silver on the daily and the 1 hour time frame. And could see a little bit of a flight to safety here. We already have for the most part with gold, but silver might be an area it's a little bit cleaner setup, not quite as expanded in trend as gold is. Let's take a look at a couple of trade ideas that have come into the screens. Looking at TUYA, nice confirmation bar here, back into momentum, increased volume, and also looking at ASTL, which had a real big move on some good earnings, big breakout, and some relatively early into that trend as well, where we're starting to see that trend starting to shift and turn. Could be an opportunity here in ASLE. And that will do it for today's update. Everyone have a fantastic day today.